What's going on, my crew? This is Jay, and welcome to another episode of Jay's Adventures. And in today's episode, we're back here. Oh boy. I'm scared about this. The Book of. That's an interesting title. Ooh, okay. Gradir thundered from a distance. He spoke to the priests these words. By me you will conquer. Sacrifice and you will have gold. Give me your gold and you will have the land. I will empower you. Disobey and die. Neglect sacrifice and die. The laws are: once a week sacrifice a bull. Once a week throw gold in the water. Once a week pray. Gadir's orders: give men swords, women, give your sons as sacrifices to the king. I have appointed the king as my oracle. Obey him and live, defy him and die. Well, that's interesting. I'm afraid to take that. Okay, so it looks like while the other area had the explosion, these guys were thinking about what the explosion was. And seem to think that this god wants them to. Oh boy. Let's check out the water. Oh. Yep. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna build a temple. These guys obviously have found a religion, and they need some place to worship and make these sacrifices, as well as make the sacrifices of gold in the water. So I want to help them out, and looks like we got a barbarian trying to come in here. But they've made their sacrifices already, but they, unfortunately, are not properly equipped to do things correctly. I'm sure the god isn't going to be very happy with them just, you know, willy-nilly making sacrifices like this. It's not a good idea. So they need to have a proper place to do that. As well as, I just want to clarify that by when they wrote in their law making sacrifice your sons to the king, they don't mean literally take your sons and kill them for the king. They mean to let the children of the town enlist in the service of the king, so they will go off to war and fight battles. Of course, they don't know what war is yet. But this god is telling them to equip the people with swords. So, just as a little context, obviously they've been butchering cows and stuff with swords, so they know what swords are. They've just never really seen or used swords to murder other people. Although, you never know. Somebody could have been murdered in the city. You just don't know. So what we want to do right off the bat here is I want to create a mound for the temple to be on. Now this temple is not really going to be some grandiose, amazing temple. I have an idea of what we're going to do, but I want it to be on a mound in a high place. Now, the lore that I'm going with here is that when they heard the explosion in the distance, they obviously didn't see any smoke or fire or anything like that, but they know that there's a lava pit nearby. And for those of you that haven't ever seen the lava pit, it's like right over there. They know that there's a lava pit nearby, and they're concerned that maybe the god is going to cause lava to erupt forth from it. There's the lava pit right there, and destroy the people. So they have a pretty big fear of this god that is in here. Okay. Now, if there is a volcanic explosion, it's actually going to be up there. Now, they are at risk, obviously, but right now, I'm not actually going to cause some sort of crazy, incredible destruction to happen to these guys. I feel like they're doing their best. But I do want to have some conflict start happening between them and the other societies. So I really want to focus on this town right now, and then we're going to move to the other town. And then maybe, just maybe, there might be the first war happen. And you may not know. It might happen at any point in time when I say it happens. But right now I'm just having fun creating some lore and building some buildings and making these towns unique, making their philosophies unique and their ideas on what life is and what life is for. Because these are all things that long ago people asked and tried to answer those questions. And we still do to this day. We still ask questions about, why are we here? Why do we exist? And all that stuff. And I'm sure that these guys are also asking those questions. And they have all their different ideas. One of the things about an integrated society like we have now is culture starts to mesh together, and we start to not really have the sort of culture that used to be that's unique to every civilization. So like the Chinese and the and Japanese and all this stuff all had their own sort of unique culture. Specifically, when you had cultures like Athens and Sparta, when they literally had their own culture, even though they were close to each other. There was no divide really amongst them, yet they had such a distinct and unique culture that it set them apart from the rest of the world. So this is going to be the base, by the way, of the temple. We're going to basically make the bottom andesite. As with the other culture, I need to stop saying so much. As with the other culture, these the andesite blocks, the granite, the diorite, those are all going to be holy blocks. It might depend on the culture. Some cultures may think this is a holy block, this isn't. It all depends. We're going to do a double here. There we go. Okay. So, there we go. Now, this temple, the way I'm going to work it is it's kind of going to be a lot like an Egyptian empire here, but a militaristic Egyptian empire. So, how's that work? So, the emperor, in this case, whoever's the king of this place, is seen as a god, as a representative of the god. In their case, that's Gadara. I still don't know how to pronounce it. But this is as the same as being a temple. This is that the king's palace. Okay? So, obviously, the king is going to be on this huge pedestal for these guys, whereas with our cultured society, you'll notice that even though the king has the best building, the king is on the same level as the people, so he doesn't have any sort of false identity that he's some cool, amazing god. I really want that culture right there to be more based on trying to be a benevolent culture. So trying to be a culture that is more based on doing good things and being kind to one another, whereas this culture is very much going to be based on just brute people that if anybody gets in their way, if anybody does anything wrong, then they're going to get the axe. And there's going to be a lot of fear represented in here. So maybe some fire, maybe some nether craziness happening. Because in this world, it is very scary. It is a very a world where people worry a lot. People don't know, don't understand things as well as they need to. Okay, so that looks pretty good for a beginning shrine. So one of the things I want to do is we're going to create, again, another sort of pedestal here. I'm never good with making these chairs. So maybe we might actually have the seat like this. Okay. Now, normally I would like to... maybe we can do that. Let's do this, that there, that here. Okay, so the king can sit here. Now, what I want to do, right in front of here, can we fit everything? That's the question. Ooh, okay, I have an idea. So, what you're going to do, and we'll make a courtyard for this. What you're going to do is you have to make the sacrifice prior, and the priest will stand right here. You have to make your sacrifice and cleanse yourself before you give the king your gold. So, when you make the sacrifice, the priest will give you a gold piece. Okay, and then when you come up here, there's going to be water here. You throw the gold piece in, you kneel before the king, and you ask him for what you need. And we'll come up with some even more interesting lore. But let's first of all get some water in there. I know it looks very archaic, but that's okay. That's what I want to go with. I didn't want to spend too much time. This isn't a cultured society. They literally don't care too much about how things look. They want it to be made out of fine stone, but they don't necessarily care about, at least not right now, the way it looks, because they are going for domination. They don't want to really worry about making something look pretty. Their worry is, are we going to be safe tomorrow? Do we have enough soldiers? Which, again, they don't know the concept of soldier, but I mean, just look at that. They had a zombie trying to get in, and the guardian couldn't help them. So these guys, their society is not very happy. So we're going to put this book right here. And then we're going to light this area up with some torches. And maybe later on we'll add some lava. But this is going to be the courtyard, the main courtyard. We'll have this road. And this road actually is not going to lead up to here. We're going to have this area kind of come around. The road come around the whole sort of mound here. But the reason why I positioned it the way I did is because what I want is if a army came from here, we're going to have a lot of protection too, but if the army came from here, they're going to have to go all the way around to get into here. They can't, and I don't want them to be able to really just come from behind. So maybe what we'll actually do is we'll cut down this area so they can't just jump up and get in there. I want to make it hard for them to get in there, which, of course, I guess they're not strategically thinking about this right now, so it's not that big of a deal if we don't. Okay. So there we go. We have some lore. We got a temple to express this lore. And now these guys can start doing whatever they do. So I hope this has been interesting for you guys. I hope you guys are loving these episodes and liking what we are going to be doing for the future. It's a lot of storytelling now, rather than just me building things. And you know, this is a legit lore. These are now cultures that we've made, cultures that have ideas of what life is like. So we're going to continue this in the next episode. But until then, happy mining and crafting.